What's up, guys? Sid's Autograph site here with another recent eBay sales video. It's been over a month since I did the last one, so this one's long overdue. It's going to be a long one, so we'll get right into it. This first item here is a brand new with tags Craftsman tool bag value pack. It's got two bags. It's got a 13-inch and an 18-inch tool bag. This item's pretty cool. I actually got this free. One of my daughters was receiving an award, so we were invited to a banquet for her to receive the award, and it was a bunch of different students and kids across the county getting awards. They had this big awards banquet for all of them, and they gave away door prizes, and I happened to win this. It was in a gift bag. It was this, a couple other things were in there too. I had no use for this, so I put it up for sale and sold it for 20 bucks. After shipping, I think I made about, and after fees, I think I made about $8 or something like that. But for $8, I will take it any day of the week. So there's the first item. This next one is another one from my wife's parents. Remember, they gave us a bunch of books, and I sold pretty much all the books that they gave us. This was a batch here. This is not the complete set. I think there's 20 or 21 volumes in the set, but this is Spurgeon's Sermons Memorial Library, 15 volumes out of the 20 or 21 volume set. These are vintage books, I believe, from the 50s. Sold all 15 of those for $70. After shipping and fees and everything, I think it only cost like 15 or 20 bucks to ship. So I probably made about $40 to $50 on that. That was free money. Like I said, those were from my wife's parents. Again, guys, anything by Charles H. Spurgeon, and it's old, nothing recently, nothing from the 80s or 90s, or from the 2000s. Anything from Charles Spurgeon that is old, before the 1980s, pick it up and put it on eBay. It will sell. Alright, next up. Didn't really make a profit on these per se, but I'm going to show them anyway. These are some old cell phone cases. We ended up getting rid of our Samsung Mesmerizes, so we had these phone cases left over, and rather than throw them away or whatever, you put them up on eBay, and I got $22 for all three of them. Now, they ended up, I think this middle one here, this hard case, one was like 20 bucks by itself, when we bought it. So we really didn't make a profit per se, but rather than throw these away, definitely put your old phone cases up on eBay, because they will sell. Okay, so now we got to go back to the previous page. Okay, this next item, again, it was free. It's pretty cool. Back in April, that's when I sold this, one of our neighbors brought over a couple bags of clothes from my daughters, and they went through them and picked out what they wanted, and there were some shoes and whatnot in there, and there was also this pair of boots. This is from a company called Ariat, and this is a Fat Baby brand. These are women's cowgirl boots, size 7B. You can see this, they got some wear on them, a little bit of wear, a little bit of staining and whatnot, but did some research on eBay on these, and I saw that they were selling, so I put this pair up there, sold them for $25. This was pretty quickly after I put these up. It was maybe 24 hours after I listed these. I think it was less than that. Sold these for $25. And after shipping and fees, I think I made about $15. So that was a free $15. So awesome. So if you find any Ariat boots, not that you guys are going to look through boots, but put them up for sale on eBay. Again, some more free books for my wife's parents. This is the complete 4-volume set of popular commentary of the Bible by Paul Kretzmann. If you find complete sets of Bible commentary, buy them, put them on eBay, they will sell. This is the Old Testament and New Testament. Sold them for $50. So that was, I think after shipping and everything, I think shipping was only like $10. I think I made about 25, 30 bucks on that. So that is awesome. Okay, next up, picked this up from my job. This is a vintage 1968 AMT Star Trek USS Enterprise model kit. The parts were still sealed in the bag. The instructions were still there. The only problem was the decal sheet, which is present, but it was missing 2 decals. I'll let everybody know that in my listing. Sold it for $40. I think I paid somewhere between $20 and $30 for this model. I can't remember. It's a pretty decent profit there. Pretty cool model to have for a few days till I sold it. Okay, this next one, again, it's from my wife's parents, and a batch of books they brought some children's books and whatnot. You know, after I read books to my daughter Ayla, you know, she usually throws them around or whatever. They usually end up getting trashed. So I did some research on this book, and I thought it was kind of rare, so I went ahead and listed it. And yep, sold it for $10. This is Shapes by John J. Rice, 1987 hardcover children's book. Ex-library book and everything. Still sold it, $10. So free money. Okay, next up. This is the Bible Knowledge Commentary, New Testament edition by Walvord and Zuck, 1987. Sold this one for $10.99. Again, this is from my parents. Now, don't get us wrong here. Not all Bible commentary books are valuable and sell. I've got a couple now that aren't selling. You gotta be careful, but complete sets of Bible commentary books will sell for sure. Okay. Next up, this book I picked up at the library book sale. This was in a whole bag of books for $2. This is a antique and collectible thimbles and accessories guide by Averill Mathis, 1989 hardcover. Sold it for $8. So I made a profit on that $2 bag of books right off the get. But then I sold another book out of that bag. This is Fountain Pens, The Collector's Guide by Jonathan Steinberg, 1994 hardcover. Sold it for $13.05. I had 3 bids on that, so that was really cool. Okay, next up, again, for my wife's parents. This is 7 volumes of 500 selected sermons by T. DeWitt Talmage. It's vintage, really Christian. These are from the 50s. This is not even a complete set. Sold it for $50. I did have to relist this once or twice before it finally sold, but it did finally sell. So I think after shipping, which was probably like 10 or 15, I think I made probably 30, 40 bucks on that for shipping and fees and whatnot. So if you have like a bunch of a set of sermons, no matter if it's buying Spurgeon or not, they'll sell. Usually if you have one or two books, a lot of times you'll have to fight to sell them, but if you have like quite a few, a good number of them, like I had 7 here, they will sell. Okay, another Star Trek model kit here from work. This is a 1994 AMT Star Trek USS Excelsior model kit. This one's still mint sealed in the box. I think I gave 20 or 25, possibly 30. Sold it for 35. Not bad. Okay, next page. This is the Expositor's Bible Commentary by Frank E. Gabelin, Volume 7. I can't remember how many volumes. There's like 12 or 15 volumes in that set. It took me a couple times listing this one before it finally sold for $7.99. Again, this is for my wife's parents. Hardcover first edition from 1985. Nice sale there. Okay, another model kit from work. This is a vintage 1978 monogram Battlestar Galactica Cylon Raider model kit. This is complete. The parts are still in the bag. I think the bag was open though, but it is complete. Decals and everything, instructions. I think I gave 20 or 25 for this. Sold it for 32. So I did make a huge profit there after it was all said and done. If any profit at all, I think, because after shipping and fees, I probably just made my money back, but I actually made money on it, not just credit. Alright, so here's a pretty cool item. You might remember I picked this up from a garage sale for $0.25. This is a vintage John Deere 1010 Tractor Owner's Manual from the 60s. Not sure the exact date because it didn't have a date. But again, I paid $0.25 for it. After 5 bids, sold for $20.38. So that was a hell of a profit. It only cost me like $2 or $3 to ship it. A couple dollars for fees. So I ended up making $15 on that. It's awesome. And again, another John Deere Tractor's Manual from the same yard sale, again for $0.25. This is a vintage 1968. This one was dated. John Deere 2520 Tractor Technical Manual. Again, paid $0.25 for it. Sold it for $25. I think I had to relist it once. I'm not sure on that, but it doesn't matter. Sold it for $0.25. Made like $19 on that after it was all said and done. So awesome. I picked this up at a thrift shop for 50 cents. This is Skateboarding by Peter Arnold. This is a rare vintage 1978 hardcover. Sold it for $15. After shipping, I think I made $12 on that. Awesome. Okay, this is a really good sale. It took me 2 or 3 tries to sell it. I don't know why. This is the Solid State Space Shuttle Columbia AM transistor radio, mint in box. The Space Shuttle itself is mint. The box is not quite. It does work with a 9-volt battery. It comes in 2 pieces. This is one piece and this is another piece. You put them together. It comes with the instructions, everything. It took me 2 or 3 tries to sell this. And I don't know why, because it had 2 bids. I think I started it. Opening bid was $30. I think buy it now was like $40. So almost sold after 2 bids for my buy it now. But anyway, sold it for $35. And what's cool about it is I sold it to somebody overseas. You can't see that on here. It's not showing it. But I sold it to somebody overseas. And had to pay $17 shipping. It might have been more than that, I'm not sure. But regardless, the $35 was all mine minus eBay and PayPal fees. So I ended up making 30 bucks on it. I think I paid 25 or 30 for it, so I didn't make a profit per se, but it made money, I think. So it's always nice when I don't have to take my shipping out of my profit. Alright, this took forever to sell. This is a vintage 1983 Tamiya 1/24 scale Campus Friends unbuilt model kit. It was complete except for the Vespa scooter, which everybody wanted apparently. And it took forever to sell it. I finally did sell it for $12. I gave $10 for it, so after shipping and everything, I actually lost money. But since I didn't pay for it, you know the drill. Okay, this book here is from my wife's parents, New Englishman's Hebrew Concordance by George Wigram, 1984 hardcover. It is there, sold it for $18. Decent sale there. This book took forever to sell. I think I started it at like $25, $30 and ended up only getting $10.50 for it. This is the Complete Book of Tailoring by Adele P. Margolis, 1964 first edition hardcover. The copies of this book were selling pretty well, so there was no first editions on eBay at the time, so I thought I had something killer here, but apparently I didn't. But at least I finally sold it for $10.50. This was from my wife's parents, so any money I made on that was pure profit. I'm going through puberty again. You can hear my voice crack. It's always awesome. This is a vintage 1974 Texas Instruments TI 1500 electronic calculator with box in working condition. Comes with everything except the case. It was marked $5, but it was half price today, so I paid $2.50. Sold it for $15. Some nice profit on that. Okay, last page, guys. Took 2 tries to sell this. This is the 1989 AMT Space 1999 Alpha Moonbase model kit. Still sealed. And this is obviously the reissue. Paid $20 for it, I think, 20 or 25. So made a decent profit on that. Sold it for $30. So very pleased with that. Next up, again from my wife's parents, this is the New Thayer's Greek English Lexicon 1981 hardcover. It's in the same set of that Hebrew Concordance. Sold it for $10. Next up, this one took 3 or 4 tries. This is the Homesteader's Handbook by survivalist and hunter James E. Churchill, 1974 hardcover. This was published during the survivalist craze. Well, not published during it, but it was pretty popular during the survivalist craze of the 80s. Sold for $15. So the money I made on that was pure profit. This was pretty cool. You might remember I picked this up at a yard sale recently. This is a Nerf N-Strike Recon CS6 gun tested and fully functional. It is missing the scope. It comes in 3 parts. The front here, in the middle, and then the stock. Paid $1 for this at a yard sale and sold it for $18. So good profit there. Definitely, guys, if you see any Nerf guns or if you have any Nerf guns, they do sell well on eBay, so pick them up. This next item I picked up from Listia. It was actually 3 souvenir concert program books for like 50 or 75 credits. After doing some research, I noticed that this one was actually selling pretty well. This is the 1986 David Lee Roth souvenir concert program book for his Eat 'em and Smile tour. This is his first solo tour. Ended up selling it after 2 bids for $15.50, so that's awesome. Like I said, I only gave 75 credits, 50 or 75 credits for all 3 concert program books, and I sold this one for $15.50, so that is awesome. Extremely happy with that. That was pure profit. Alright, this is a neat little item. My wife's parents, again, brought us over a bunch of interesting things. They love thrift shopping and garage selling, and they always pick up some neat stuff. This is a vintage Zassenhaus pepper mill grinder, made in Germany. So here's a story here. It's pretty cool. I'm an American. I sold this item made in Germany for $25 to somebody in the Netherlands, I believe. I know it was overseas, and it was not in Germany. So it's kind of neat how that is, you know. An American sells something made in Germany to somebody in the Netherlands. That's pretty cool. It's a neat little thing, too. But after 3 bids, sold it for $25. But it was silly because the same person bid 3 times. So apparently they really wanted it, but nobody else did because my opening bid was $25. So unfortunately, it only went for that. And he had to pay, I think, $7, almost $8 shipping. So this was all pure profit except for eBay and PayPal fees. So I mean, I think after that I made $20. So awesome. Okay, another model kit from work. This is the 1989 MPC Commemorative Edition Star Wars Star Destroyer model kit. Still sealed. I think I paid $30 for this. It's either 30 or 40. I think it was 40. Paid 40 for this. Sold it for 50. So after shipping, I really just made my 40 back. Possibly lost $1 or 2, but that was all money still. Okay, this item's pretty cool. You might remember these from my mail day vid. Signed up for the Chicago White Sox Kids Club and got these 2 tickets, free tickets inside the Kids Club pack. They're good for 2 free upper reserve seats to $28 value. Sold them here on eBay for $10. And I think it only cost me 2 because I didn't just put them in a normal PWE, so it cost me $2. And after eBay fees, I think I made like $8 on that. So very nice. Alright guys, one more thing. Picked this up at a yard sale for $25. This is a Combat Engineer Soldier's Manual and Trainer's Guide from 1990, Department of the Army. Like I said, paid $25 for it. Sold it for $20. Made a hell of a profit on that. So, alright guys. That brings me up to date on my eBay sales. I hope you enjoy watching it. Sorry it was so long. But thanks for watching those that did. And I should be back with a mail day video either later today or tomorrow. Alright, see you.